Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Welcome to Stoic in Your Life, where today we delve into the shadows of self-hatred, a battle many of us silently face. Do you ever catch yourself in the mirror, besieged by thoughts of disdain towards your own reflection? Self-hatred is an insidious enemy, not only shackling us from reaching our full potential, but also deepening the trenches of anxiety and depression. Understanding the roots of self-loathing is the first step towards liberation. It's about recognizing the signs that haunt us, the triggers that propel us into darkness, and the profound impact it has on our lives. Today, we embark on a journey to dismantle these chains of self-hatred, to cultivate resilience, and to foster a compassionate relationship with ourselves. For those yearning to break free from the vicious cycle of self-hatred, remember, while you may not have chosen these feelings, the path you take from here on out is yours to command. Let's explore together how to transcend these turbulent emotions and embrace the Stoic principles of self-compassion and inner peace. Join us as we navigate through the storm, guiding you towards a life where self-love and acceptance illuminate the way. Realizing that hate comes from judgment. The first step on this transformative voyage is the realization that the seeds of hate sprout from the soil of judgment. Like gardeners of our inner landscape, we have meticulously cultivated a list of demands, criteria that we believe must be met to earn our own affection and approval. Yet when these self-imposed benchmarks are not achieved, dissatisfaction creeps in, gradually morphing into a shadow of self-hatred that looms over our spirit. This phenomenon is not swayed by external factors, for they lie beyond the realm of our control. Instead, it is our perception of these events, our stance towards the unfolding tapestry of life, that wields the power to disturb our peace. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, teach us that it is not the events themselves that unsettle us, but our judgments about them. The missed job opportunity, the elusive millionaire status by 40, or the dream of a standalone house in the suburbs, none of these scenarios carry an inherent label of good or bad. They simply exist. It is the narrative we weave around them, the significance we assign, that colors our emotions and reactions. Reflecting on this, I am reminded of the fluidity of our judgments. What once held the promise of happiness may now sit in our minds as a neutral or even negative entity. This realization highlights the transient and ultimately unreliable nature of our judgments. As Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, wisely stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote encapsulates the essence of Stoicism and serves as a powerful reminder that our inner tranquility is not dictated by external circumstances, but by the mastery over our thoughts and perceptions. Incorporating this Stoic principle into the fabric of our modern lives, we find that the antidote to self-hatred lies not in the relentless pursuit of external achievements, but in nurturing a compassionate and non-judgmental relationship with ourselves. It encourages us to gently acknowledge our flaws and shortcomings, not as definitive markers of our worth, but as facets of our human experience. By doing so, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and acceptance, understanding that our value is not contingent upon the fleeting benchmarks of success that society often glorifies. This approach to self-compassion and understanding, deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom, offers practical guidance for navigating the complexities of contemporary life. It teaches us to detach our sense of self-worth from the unpredictable waves of external success and failure, instead finding solace in the steadfastness of our character and the integrity of our actions. As we journey through life embracing the Stoic practice of observing our judgments with a critical yet kind eye, we gradually dismantle the foundations of self-hatred. This process of introspection and recalibration of our inner dialogue fosters a resilient spirit, capable of withstanding the vicissitudes of life with grace and equanimity. In essence, the Stoic path towards overcoming self-hatred invites us to embark on a journey of self-discovery, where each step is guided by the light of wisdom passed down through the ages. It beckons us to look within, to question the judgments that sow the seeds of discontent, and to embrace a more forgiving and compassionate stance towards ourselves. By doing so, we not only liberate ourselves from the chains of self-criticism, but also open our hearts to the boundless potential for growth, happiness, and inner peace. Hate oneself because of our past actions or inactions. Embarking on the journey to overcome self-hatred, especially when it stems from our past deeds or lack thereof, is a pivotal step in aligning ourselves with the principles of Stoicism. It's undeniable that certain actions, particularly those that cause harm to others or ourselves through deliberate malevolence or self-destructive behaviors, warrant a critical reflection. Such introspection, when it leads to a constructive critique, can indeed serve as a catalyst for personal growth and moral realignment. The essence of Stoicism teaches us that while acknowledging our missteps is crucial, incessantly berating ourselves does little to foster improvement or healing. This relentless self-criticism, often rooted in irrational and flawed perceptions, only serves to exacerbate our suffering without contributing to our betterment. In the face of this self-imposed adversity, I've adopted a remarkably simple yet profoundly transformative practice. Counting my blessings. This practice is not about ignoring our faults, but rather shifting our focus towards gratitude and appreciation for the positive aspects of our lives and the present moment. By consciously acknowledging the good, we can alleviate the heavy burdens of perpetual dissatisfaction and the relentless pursuit of more or feelings of not enough. This shift in perspective is not just about fostering a positive outlook, but is deeply rooted in the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what isn't. To enrich this concept, let's draw inspiration from the story of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, who after suffering a shipwreck lost nearly everything he owned. Instead of succumbing to despair or self-loathing for his perceived misfortune, Zeno embraced his circumstances, which ultimately led him to the philosophical path and the founding of Stoicism. This story exemplifies the Stoic virtue of transforming adversity into opportunity, highlighting that our reactions to our circumstances are within our control, even if the circumstances themselves are not. Incorporating a modern-day allegory, imagine someone who, after facing a series of professional setbacks, decides to volunteer at a local community center. Through this act of service, they discover a passion for helping others, leading to a fulfilling career change. This narrative mirrors the Stoic practice of transmuting personal challenges into avenues for growth and self-discovery, emphasizing that our greatest trials can lead to our most profound triumphs. In conclusion, the journey to overcoming self-hatred through Stoicism is not about denying our flaws or past mistakes, but about changing our relationship with ourselves. By practicing gratitude, focusing on our strengths, and learning from our missteps, we can pave the way for a life marked by resilience, contentment, and purpose. Let us remember that our worth is not defined by our past actions, but by our capacity to grow, to love ourselves, and to contribute positively to the world around us. In doing so, we not only liberate ourselves from the chains of self-hatred, but also open our hearts to the boundless possibilities of the present and the future. Self-hate is an extreme and destructive form of dissatisfaction. In the realm of personal growth and self-improvement, we often encounter a formidable adversary, one that can be more destructive than any external challenge: self-hatred. This isn't merely being dissatisfied with oneself, it's an intense, destructive form of loathing that paints everything in our lives in shades of despair. Yet, what I've discovered on my own journey, and what ancient wisdom teaches us, is that this self-hatred often stems from a place of neediness, a belief that we lack something essential for our happiness. However, when we release this belief, even momentarily, we begin to see the abundance in our lives, recognizing the multitude of blessings we previously overlooked. Epicurus, an ancient philosopher, posited that the pursuit of happiness is humanity's ultimate goal. But his approach was not one of indulgence in luxury or ceaseless striving for more. Rather, He advocated for finding joy in the simplest of pleasures. Consider the basic necessities of life, such as having food to eat and a roof over our heads. Aren't these, in themselves, reasons for profound gratitude? And if we extend this gratitude to other aspects of our lives, like the presence of friends, family, and the success of personal endeavors, like a YouTube channel, we realize how rich we truly are. These everyday blessings, which we often take for granted, are actually the fabric of a fulfilling life. Epicurus also reminds us of a profound truth. The things we are dissatisfied with today were once the objects of our deepest desires. Reflecting on my own experience with my YouTube channel, I recall a time when reaching 50,000 subscribers seemed like a distant dream, one that, if achieved, would bring unparalleled happiness. Now, having surpassed that number, it's easy to forget the joy and satisfaction that milestone represented. This realization invites a shift in perspective, encouraging us to step into the shoes of our past selves. By doing so, we can rekindle our appreciation for the achievements and blessings we currently have, recognizing them as the fulfillment of past desires. This exercise of looking back, of seeing our present through the lens of our past aspirations, reveals a fundamental truth. We have much to be thankful for, and little, if any, reason for self-loathing. The journey from self-hatred to self-appreciation is not about acquiring more, but about recognizing the abundance that already exists in our lives. It's about understanding that happiness doesn't come from external achievements or possessions, but from an internal state of gratitude and contentment. To further enrich this perspective, let's draw upon the wisdom of another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, who said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This sentiment echoes the teachings of Epicurus and serves as a powerful reminder that our sense of fulfillment and happiness is not determined by the breadth of our possessions or the scope of our achievements, but by our ability to cherish and find joy in what we already have. In embracing this philosophy, we not only overcome self-hatred, but also embark on a path of genuine self-love and acceptance. We learn to see our lives not as a series of deficiencies or failures, but as a journey filled with blessings, lessons, and opportunities for growth. This shift in perspective is not merely about positive thinking. It's a profound transformation in how we perceive ourselves and our place in the world. It's about recognizing that at every moment, we are exactly where we need to be, equipped with everything we need for happiness and fulfillment. So, as we navigate the ebbs and flows of life, let us remember that the antidote to self-hatred lies not in external validation or the relentless pursuit of more, but in the simple, yet profound act of gratitude. By appreciating the small pleasures, recognizing the fulfillment of past desires, and embracing the abundance that surrounds us, we can shed the weight of self-loathing and step into a life marked by serenity, contentment, and a deep, unwavering love for ourselves. Cherishing the flip sides. In the journey of life, especially for those of us navigating the terrain between the ages of 30 and 65, the quest for self-acceptance often leads us to confront the shadows of self-hatred. It's a battle that demands not just courage, but a profound shift in perspective, a transformation that Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, equips us to undertake. The fourth step in this transformative journey is what I term cherishing the flip sides, a concept that invites us to embrace the entirety of our existence, the light and the shadows, with equal reverence. The essence of this step lies in the recognition that our perceived flaws and shortcomings are not merely obstacles to be eradicated, but are, in fact, integral components of our being that harbor hidden strengths and unexpected opportunities for growth. This perspective is reminiscent of the Taoist principle of yin and yang, which teaches us the inherent oneness in duality. Just as there cannot be joy without sorrow, nor strength without vulnerability, every aspect of our being and every moment of our existence encompasses a balance of contrasts. It is a profound reminder that in the heart of what we deem negative, there lies a potential for positive transformation. Consider, for instance, the societal labels and self-imposed judgments that we often grapple with. To be poor, to own little, to not conform to conventional standards of beauty, these conditions, though seemingly disadvantageous, offer us unique advantages. Poverty teaches us resilience and the value of simplicity. Owning less frees us from the chains of materialism. Echoing the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." And in the face of perceived ugliness, we find a powerful filter that separates the superficial from the genuine, encouraging connections that transcend the physical to appreciate the beauty of the soul. This philosophy encourages us to view our struggles and insecurities not as insurmountable barriers, but as gateways to deeper self-awareness and transformation. When loneliness envelops us, it can also be seen as a sanctuary of solitude, offering us the precious gift of time that can be channeled into self-reflection, creativity, and personal development. It is in these moments of solitude that we can engage with the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, who reminded us that nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. This introspection enables us to convert our inner turmoil into a wellspring of strength, turning the act of self-loathing into an exercise in perspective shifting. By cherishing the flip sides, we learn to embrace every facet of our existence with compassion and understanding. It's about recognizing that our greatest challenges often hold the keys to our most profound growth. This approach does not deny the pain or difficulty inherent in our experiences, but instead invites us to search for the silver lining, however faint it may seem. In doing so, we align ourselves with the Stoic principle of amor fati, the love of one's fate, which encourages us to welcome every experience, good or bad, as necessary parts of our journey. In the modern hustle, where success is often measured by material wealth, physical beauty, and social status, Stoicism offers a sanctuary of peace and resilience. It teaches us that true contentment and self-acceptance arise not from external accolades, but from the internal fortitude to face life's adversities with grace and to find value in every moment regardless of its outward appearance. To my fellow travelers on this Stoic journey, let us remember that in the tapestry of life, every thread, no matter how dark or frayed, contributes to the beauty of the whole. By cherishing the flip sides, we not only overcome self-hatred, but also open ourselves to a life of deeper fulfillment and serenity. Let this be our guide as we navigate the ebbs and flows of existence, transforming our challenges into stepping stones towards a more resilient and enlightened self. Creating space and be miserable. In the journey of life, especially when guided by the Stoic principles of resilience and inner peace, we often encounter moments that test our fortitude, leading us into the shadows of self-doubt and self-hatred. It's in these moments that the wisdom of Stoicism can illuminate a path forward, teaching us not only to endure, but to transform our struggles into stepping stones for growth. The concept I want to explore today, which may initially seem counterintuitive, is the art of creating space to be miserable as a step towards overcoming self-hatred. This approach, though it sounds paradoxical, is deeply rooted in the Stoic practice of self-compassion and mindfulness. Imagine for a moment that you're caught in a relentless storm of negative thoughts and emotions, a tempest that threatens to uproot your peace of mind. It's natural to want to escape this turmoil swiftly, but Stoicism teaches us the value of patience and understanding with oneself. By allowing ourselves a designated period to fully experience our emotions without judgment, be it a day of introspection and acceptance, we open the door to genuine healing. This process isn't about wallowing in despair, but about acknowledging our feelings and treating ourselves with kindness and care during these moments. During this time, it's crucial to engage in acts of self-love that nourish both the body and soul. If your surroundings reflect the chaos within, take a moment to tidy up, creating a serene space that mirrors the internal clarity you seek. Indulge in your favorite meal, disconnect from the digital world, and postpone tasks that add to your stress. Perhaps immerse yourself in a book that uplifts your spirit or a film that brings you joy. The essence of this practice lies in granting yourself the grace to be human, to feel deeply, and to accept these feelings without self-reproach. The allegory of Hercules at the crossroads can be particularly inspiring here. Faced with the choice between the path of virtue, which is arduous and challenging, and the path of vice, which is easy and pleasurable, Hercules chooses virtue, understanding that true fulfillment comes from overcoming difficulties. Similarly, by consciously choosing to face our inner turmoil, we embrace the opportunity for profound personal growth. As we navigate through these moments of self-permitted misery, a transformation begins to unfold. The very act of allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, coupled with self-care, catalyzes a shift in perspective. We start to see our struggles not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. This shift is not instantaneous but a gradual process that unfolds as we learn to treat ourselves with compassion and understanding. In conclusion, overcoming self-hatred through Stoicism involves embracing our vulnerabilities and treating ourselves with kindness during our lowest moments. By creating space to be miserable, we actually pave the way for a quicker recovery, as this practice fosters self-awareness, acceptance, and ultimately, self-love. Remember, it's not the absence of struggle that defines our strength, but our ability to face adversity with courage and grace. Let this be a reminder that in the art of living, the most profound lessons are often learned in the heart of our challenges. Taking action. In the journey of overcoming self-hatred, the pivotal moment arrives when we decide to take action. This step, crucial and transformative, is where the real change begins. It's not about the number of times we find ourselves faltering or falling into the depths of despair. What truly matters is our resilience, our unwavering determination to rise each time we fall. The essence of this step lies in the simple yet profound act of moving forward, of engaging in life's myriad activities no matter how small or insignificant they may seem. Whether it's immersing ourselves in the routine of work, seeking solace in the company of a friend, or finding peace in the solitude of a forest walk, the act of doing something, anything, serves as a lifeline, pulling us away from the tumultuous sea of negative thoughts that gave birth to self-hatred in the first place. This action, this deliberate choice to engage with the world around us, acts as a catalyst, setting in motion the energies that lay dormant within us, energies stifled by the weight of our own harsh judgments. It's a battle, undoubtedly, to push against the inertia of our own minds, against the voice that whispers with a deceiving allure, "It's pointless anyway." Yet herein lies the wisdom of the Stoics, a wisdom that has traversed centuries, echoing the timeless truth that our liberation lies in action. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But he also knew that the quality of our thoughts is shaped by our actions. When we choose to engage, to participate actively in the tapestry of life, we weave a narrative of resilience and strength, leaving little room for self-hatred to flourish. Consider the simple act of going to the gym. It may seem like a small, almost trivial step in the grand scheme of things, yet it embodies the very essence of taking action. Despite the heavy cloak of negativity that may weigh us down, making every step feel like a Herculean effort, the act of going to the gym represents a defiance, a rebellion against the part of us that succumbs to despair. And in this action, there's a near certainty, a 99% chance, if you will, that we will emerge on the other side feeling lighter, brighter, and more at peace with ourselves. It's a testament to the power of action, to its ability to break the chains of self-loathing and set us free. This principle of engaging with life, of flourishing through action, is a beacon of hope in the stormy seas of self-hatred. It's a reminder that we are not defined by our lowest moments, nor are we tethered to the anchor of our negative thoughts. In the words of another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." When we dare to take action, to step out of our comfort zones and into the arena of life, we find that the specter of self-hatred loses its power over us. We discover that, in the act of doing, in the very process of engaging with life, there is a healing power, a force that propels us towards a state of well-being and self-acceptance. So, let us embrace the step of taking action with open arms and a steadfast heart. Let us remember that every action, no matter how small, is a step away from the shadows of self-hatred and towards the light of self-compassion and understanding. In this journey, we are not alone. The wisdom of the Stoics, with its profound insights into the human condition, serves as a guiding light, illuminating the path towards inner peace and resilience. As we move forward, let us hold fast to the belief that in action, there is hope, and in hope, there is the possibility of transcending our darkest moments to emerge stronger, wiser, and more connected to the essence of who we truly are. Listen to music. In the labyrinth of our minds, where shadows of self-doubt and self-hatred often loom large, finding a beacon of light can seem like a Herculean task. Yet, the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, intertwined with the universal language of music, offers a powerful antidote to these inner demons. The seventh step in our journey towards overcoming self-hatred through Stoicism is not merely a step, but a leap into the harmonious world of music. Imagine yourself cocooned in the comforting embrace of your car, the doors shut to the chaos of the world as you let the strains of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata or Fur-Elise wash over you. The transition from the timeless classics to the golden oldies, and then to the pulsating beats of rock, with bands like X-Japan and the Gazette setting your soul ablaze, illustrates the transformative power of music. It's a journey that transcends genres, touching the very core of our being. Music, with its profound ability to penetrate our consciousness, acts as a conduit for change, influencing our mood, mind, and behavior in ways words alone cannot. The melodies and harmonies evoke responses not just in the brain's reward centers, but also in areas regulating emotions, offering a unique form of solace and upliftment. In this context, Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This underscores the importance of curating our mental playlist as meticulously as we would our music. By selecting songs that resonate with our soul, that inspire and evoke a sense of joy and love for life, we create an auditory sanctuary that nurtures our well-being. Creating a personal playlist, be it on your phone or YouTube, filled with tracks that make your heart sing is akin to crafting a bespoke elixir for the soul. However, the key is moderation. Indulging in this playlist too frequently can dilute its magic, as our nervous system's connection to these melodies may become saturated, replacing the initial emotions with new, perhaps less inspiring ones. This phenomenon highlights the beauty of rediscovery, where songs not heard in months or years can transport us back to a moment of pure emotion, untouched by the passage of time. This principle applies equally to your Love Life playlist, serving as a reminder that the joy of music, like the joy of life, lies in its variety and the spaces between. In our modern lives, where the cacophony of daily existence often drowns out our inner peace, turning to music as a Stoic practice can be a profound act of self-care. It's a reminder that amidst the hustle and bustle, there exists a sanctuary of sound that can elevate our spirits and guide us back to a state of equanimity. The act of choosing music that uplifts rather than degrades, that inspires rather than depresses, is a practical application of Stoicism's core tenet, focusing on what is within our control. Our emotional landscape, much like our musical preferences, is ours to curate. In this harmonious blend of Stoic philosophy and the healing power of music, we find a potent strategy for combating self-hatred. It's a testament to the enduring wisdom of the Stoics, who understood the value of nurturing the mind and soul with positive, uplifting thoughts. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that the music we choose to accompany our journey can be a powerful ally in transforming our inner dialogue from one of self-criticism to one of self-compassion. In the end, it's not just about overcoming self-hatred, it's about embracing a life of harmony, resilience, and profound joy, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and the universal language of music. Write a journal. Embarking on the journey of overcoming self-hatred through the lens of Stoicism, we find ourselves at a pivotal step, the practice of journaling. This ancient technique, far beyond the mere recording of daily activities, serves as a profound tool for introspection and emotional regulation. The essence of this practice lies not in the meticulous documentation of every detail of our lives, but in the thoughtful reflection on significant events, our reactions to them, and the emotions they evoke within us. It's about peering into the depths of our experiences, dissecting our feelings, and understanding our perspectives on the occurrences that shape our lives. For those among us who may balk at the idea of regular journaling, perhaps due to a perceived lack of time or interest, there's a compelling argument for at least documenting our emotions during moments of distress or when plagued by thoughts that darken our view of life. The wisdom of this approach is backed by psychological research, which reveals that the act of writing down our emotions can have a tangible effect on our brain's ability to manage these feelings. Specifically, engaging in this practice has been shown to reduce activity in the amygdala, the brain's epicenter for managing emotions such as fear, anxiety, and panic. This decrease in activity not only helps in calming the storm within, but also paves the way for a more rational and composed approach to our problems. Moreover, the act of journaling encourages a deeper connection with our inner selves, offering clarity on the events that stir turmoil in our hearts. By revisiting our written words during moments of tranquility, we are presented with an opportunity to view our past experiences through a lens of calm and objectivity. This reflective process allows us to ask critical questions. How might we handle a similar situation differently in the future? What were the triggers that led to our emotional response? And most importantly, how can we improve our reaction to such challenges moving forward? Consider the tale of a Stoic philosopher who, after facing a day filled with trials, would retire to his study to pen his thoughts and emotions. Through this practice, he discovered patterns in his reactions to certain events and, over time, learned to anticipate and mitigate his emotional responses. This story exemplifies the transformative power of journaling, not just as a means of coping with immediate feelings of despair or frustration, but as a tool for long-term emotional growth and resilience. In conclusion, the practice of journaling, as advocated by Stoicism, offers more than a simple outlet for emotional expression. It is a pathway to understanding ourselves and mastering our reactions to the world around us. By committing to this practice, we can uncover the triggers of our self-hatred, learn from our past, and take proactive steps towards healing. The lesson here is clear. Through the disciplined reflection of journaling, we can cultivate a more compassionate and forgiving relationship with ourselves, ultimately leading to a life of greater peace and fulfillment. This Stoic practice not only aids in overcoming self-hatred, but also empowers us to navigate the tumultuous waters of life with grace and resilience, reminding us that within the pages of our journals lies the key to unlocking our inner wisdom and strength. Practice mindfulness. This concept, deeply rooted in both Stoicism and Buddhism, serves as a beacon of light guiding us through the tumultuous seas of self-doubt and self-hatred. Mindfulness, in its essence, is the art of anchoring oneself firmly in the present moment. It's about shedding the heavy cloaks of past regrets and future anxieties, to stand in the now with a heart free of judgment. This practice isn't just about observation. It's a profound engagement with the present, a deliberate choice to experience life as it unfolds moment by moment, without the distortion of our critical inner voices. For those among us who have weathered storms of despair, who have been scarred by the relentless assault of depressive thoughts, mindfulness offers a sanctuary. It's an acknowledgement that our brains, those intricate mazes of thought and emotion, have perhaps been wired by past traumas to anticipate pain, to react with negativity as a default. Yet here lies the beauty of mindfulness. It offers us a tool, a method to rewire our responses, to cultivate a garden where once there were only weeds. By choosing to engage with our present without judgment, we begin to forge new pathways in our minds, pathways that lead to resilience, to a serene acceptance of what is, rather than a bitter yearning for what could have been. Practicing mindfulness is akin to learning a new language, the language of the here and now. It's a skill that can be honed anywhere, at any time, whether you're sipping your morning coffee, feeling its warmth seep into your bones, or you're simply taking a moment to breathe, to feel the air fill your lungs and then release, a testament to the cycle of life itself. The key, however, is consistency. Just as the greatest of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Mindfulness is the daily bread that nourishes this strength, a practice that must be cultivated with the same devotion one would give to a sacred ritual. A traveler who spent his life searching for peace in the external world, he climbed the highest mountains, crossed the widest seas, sought wisdom from sages and kings, yet peace eluded him. It wasn't until he sat under the shade of an ancient tree, closing his eyes to the world, that he found what he had been seeking. In the quietude of his being, in the simple act of being present, he discovered a wellspring of peace within. This tale mirrors our own quest for inner tranquility amidst the chaos of self-hatred. It's a reminder that peace doesn't reside on some distant shore. It's rooted within us, waiting to be uncovered through the practice of mindfulness. Incorporating quotes from Stoic philosophers can further illuminate our path. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This encapsulates the essence of mindfulness, urging us to find joy in the now, to release our grip on the uncertainties of what lies ahead, and to embrace the present with open arms and an open heart. As we navigate the complexities of overcoming self-hatred, let us remember that mindfulness is not a destination, but a journey. It's a commitment to ourselves, to gently guide our thoughts back to the present whenever they wander into the realms of regret or worry. It's an act of self-love, a declaration that we are worthy of peace, of happiness, right here, right now. So, I invite you, dear listener, to embark on this journey of mindfulness, to make it a daily practice, a habit that shapes your life. Let it be your anchor in the storm, your light in the darkness, guiding you back to the serene shores of self-acceptance and love. Accept negative emotions. Stoicism doesn't categorize emotions based on their nature, but rather on the context of their utility. For instance, the feelings of anxiety and fear, often perceived negatively, are recognized for their essential role in survival scenarios. This perspective encourages us to see emotions not as enemies, but as signals, guiding us through life's challenges. To navigate through the storms of negative emotions, the Stoics propose a three-part strategy that begins with a radical acceptance of life's unpredictability. Life, in its infinite complexity, will inevitably present situations that are far from what we desire. The wisdom lies not in the futile resistance to these circumstances, but in the serene acceptance of their possibility. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote encapsulates the Stoic approach to emotional resilience, reminding us that our power lies in our response, not in the external events themselves. The second part of the strategy advises against exacerbating the situation. In the throes of negative emotions, it's tempting to spiral into a cycle of self-blame and criticism, but Stoicism teaches us the virtue of restraint and the importance of maintaining a clear mind. By refraining from adding fuel to the fire, we preserve our inner peace and prepare ourselves for constructive solutions. The final part of this Stoic strategy involves a pragmatic approach to problem solving, guided by three critical questions. What is the worst that can happen, and what would be its consequences? How likely is it to happen? And if it does happen, how will I cope? This methodical inquiry not only demystifies the fear surrounding the situation, but also empowers us with a plan of action. It's a reminder that while we may not have control over every aspect of our lives, we possess the resilience and wisdom to face whatever comes our way. This Stoic approach to overcoming self-hatred and negative emotions is not just about enduring adversity, but about transforming our relationship with our emotions. It teaches us that every emotion has its place and purpose, and by understanding and accepting them, we can navigate life with greater serenity and strength. In the modern context, where the pace of life and the pressures of society can often lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-criticism, these Stoic principles offer a timeless remedy. They encourage us to look within, to find the strength and wisdom that have always been there, and to face life's challenges not as insurmountable obstacles but as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. In essence, the Stoic journey towards overcoming self-hatred is a call to embrace our humanity with all its flaws and virtues. It's a journey of acceptance, resilience, and transformation, guided by the wisdom of those who walked this path centuries ago. By integrating these Stoic principles into our lives, we not only learn to navigate our emotions with grace, but also to live with a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. In the words of Seneca, another Stoic luminary, "Life, if well lived, is long enough." Thus, let us live well, embracing every emotion, every challenge, and every moment with the strength and serenity of a Stoic. As we conclude this journey through the depths of overcoming self-hatred, it's crucial to remember that the path to self-acceptance and love is not a destination but a continuous journey. The steps we've explored together, recognizing the source of self-judgment, counting our blessings, cherishing the flip sides, allowing ourselves to be miserable, taking action, listening to music, writing a journal, practicing mindfulness, and accepting negative emotions are not just strategies but lifelines to a more fulfilled and serene existence. I encourage you, my dear viewers, to not just passively watch this video, but to actively engage with these principles in your daily lives. Reflect on which step resonates with you the most and commit to incorporating it into your routine. Remember, every small action counts towards building a more compassionate relationship with yourself. I'm curious to know how you plan to apply these steps in your life. Which one do you think will be the most challenging for you? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's create a supportive community where we can learn from each other's journeys and celebrate our progress no matter how small. Remember, Stoicism teaches us the value of inner tranquility and resilience. By applying these principles, we not only overcome self-hatred but also pave the way for personal growth and happiness. Let's embrace the wisdom of Stoicism and transform our struggles into stepping stones for a more contented life. Thank you for joining me on this important journey. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life for more insights on how ancient philosophy can guide us in the modern world. Together, let's continue to explore the depths of our minds and hearts, fostering a community of strength, understanding, and compassion.